All right, I'm going to show you guys how to do a basic bowl. And this is something I've never done before, so I'm kind of making this up as I go, but we'll see. Hopefully it works out well. I basically cut 5 pieces of wire, the heavy gauge stuff, at 18 inches. Okay, so you're going to want your really thin copper wire for this. I don't have my really thin copper wire, so I'm just going to use my armature wire. So the first thing I want to do is kind of straighten these out to the best of my ability so that they are crossing over each other. So I'm going to start with just 2 for now, and I'm going to use this really bendy armature wire, and I recommend that you use the copper wire as opposed to this stuff because it's a little harder to work with. What you want to do is you want to get them in the center together like this, like a cross. And then I'm literally going to make a really tight wrap here, like that. And I can squeeze it together so that it's a little bit more, so it's a little tighter still. So really squeeze it together. Not the tightest in the world, but that's okay. All right. And I'm now going to put another one in there. So I have 3. And I want to shoot for 5. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to put them together so that so it makes like a star shape. I'm going to get another one in there. And I'm probably this is where like the copper stuff will work better, but the idea here is that I want to get this together so that it's a nice like sort of star shape, like a wheel spoke, if you will. The hardest part. It looks really awkward right now, but I think it's going to work. I hope. We'll see. Okay. So the intention here is to have them evenly spaced. Think of it like a spider web. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're putting it together. I'm going to make it nice and tight, so I'm going to just kind of wrap it around. Probably should have gotten a longer piece to do that with. And you'll see like that coppery stuff will be much easier to work with and it'll look prettier too. But the idea here is that you get something like that where it looks like a little starburst, if you will. And then just kind of play with it so you can kind of get it to be, evenly spaced like that. And so then what you'll do next is you're basically doing like an old-fashioned basket weave kind of thing, right? So this is what it looks like in like the wooden reeds that basket weavers use. So we're going to basically go around, in and around, and we're going to make like a chain effect going around it. Okay, so once again, like that other stuff, that copper wire will be much nicer to work with right there. It'll go faster too. Okay, so I'm going to get a nice big piece of this really bendy armature wire, not the stiff stuff, okay? So I'm taking like 18 inches or so, maybe like 2 feet. And what I'm going to do now is I'm literally going to just pick a place to start. I'm going to wrap around it. Oh, you know what? This isn't the bendy stuff. There's my bendy stuff. I gotta say, wow, that's really hard to work with. Okay. So I'm getting like 2 feet of the really bendy stuff. And I'm going to and this, you can also just use the plain old copper wire for this as well. It'll definitely be easier because it's easier to wrap it around. You need to wrap it around fairly tight. You can use your needle nose pliers to tighten that up. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is literally weave it around, one over the other, over another, under and over. And it's not going to really look very good until I get like the next layer on there. Okay, so try to make it evenly spaced and then come back to your original. So you're going over and under each one, coming back to this. Using that copper gauge will certainly look so much nicer than this. We're going to do it again. And this time we're going to wrap around a lot more like a braiding effect. Okay, so I'm going to pick a new spot to start. Try not to poke myself in the eye. There. Okay. And now I'm going to do opposite what I did. Okay, so I went under on this one, so now I'm going to go over on this one. And at this point, I think it's best to actually go like wrap around it. Wrap around both of them, which is, sounds like I'm making major explosions over here. Okay. And then I'm going to do it again over here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm just wrapping around each one now. Spacing them apart. Try to make it evenly spaced as you go. I'm going in and around a couple times maybe. I'm just trying this out. I'm really just making this up as I go, guys. So I think that you can watch this and then come up with a better way of doing it. Spacing it. You can see it's starting to come together. So I'm coming around. It looks awkward when you first start working with wire. It feels awkward when you first start doing it. Then once you get it kind of tightened in, it's a whole lot of fun. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing right here. Okay, tighten that in. And honestly, if you can come up with a good like technique here for yourself, that would be best. Start to push them together. I don't think I really wrapped around that one very well, so now I'm going to come back over here and we'll wrap around this one like this. Make sure that I'm spacing it so I'm not losing that shape, because I really don't want to lose that shape. I want to have this to be as even as possible. I'm going to do it around one more time. That looks pretty awkward. Squeeze those together. I could even strengthen that by wrapping it again. And you can see what's happening here. It's fun actually once I get it. It's just a struggle getting it started. I'm sure there's a better way to space this, as this is my first time ever doing this. I think it's actually coming along pretty good considering I've never done this before in my life. This probably should be a little tighter down here. I can probably wrap this around, braid it a little bit. Try not to hurt yourself, but this does get kind of pokey. Okay, and then I'm at the end. Okay. All right. So that's like the base of it now. And look at how short that became right there on that side. But now you could continue in that manner of speaking and just kind of continue to build up. And I've got a basic structure started for a bowl. It's not gorgeous, but you continue to like get a new piece, get another nice long piece, kind of go around it, wrapping, going around. And then if you wanted to do beading on thinner wire, then you would just put that in between everything. So that's a pretty good start.